So let me leave you with just this final thought here. And again, thank you all for being here. But there was a story that dominated headlines last week. It was actually a story in southwestern Ohio, about 45 minutes from where I grew up, a town called Springfield, Ohio. And what happened in Springfield, I think, is an example of what Kamala Harris's open border, what she wants to do to every small town and big city in this country, which is over the last few years, 20,000 migrants, primarily from Haiti, have been dropped into Springfield, Ohio. And it's caused an incredible stress on nearly every local service. You've got public schools where there are 1,000 kids in a small town, 1,000 kids who don't speak English. You've got local hospitals and clinics that are totally overwhelmed. You've got 8,000 people on the Medicaid rolls that weren't even in the community just 3 short years ago. And you've got a lot of people getting evicted from their homes to make way for people who are receiving government benefits. The idea of kicking American citizens out of their homes for non-citizens who are receiving a welfare check is disgraceful, and it shouldn't happen. It is an absolute disgrace. But President Trump and I have been talking about this issue. We're going to keep on talking about this issue because all over the country, I just saw a story about a small town in Pennsylvania where something else similar is happening. You've got a massive influx of migrants. You've got people who now can't afford housing. And in the name of Kamala Harris's open border, you are destroying the American dream of home ownership and home security. It is a disgrace. But I want to tell you what's even more disgraceful. What's even more disgraceful than the policy is the effort to silence the residents of Springfield. I've seen this from the American media, a lot of people who pretend to be fair journalists. You know what they've been saying? For the last few days, Springfield has been experiencing an unbelievable number, something like 35, 40 bomb threats in Springfield in just the last few days. And you know what the governor of Ohio came out yesterday and said? Every single one of those bomb threats was a hoax. And all of those bomb threats came from foreign countries. So the American media, for 3 days, has been lying and saying that Donald Trump and I are inciting bomb threats, when in reality, the American media has been laundering foreign disinformation. It is disgusting. And every single one of them owes the residents of Springfield an apology. But I think it illustrates something, my friends, that is so sick from the American press in 2024. And it's that instead of talking about the crises in our country, they try to silence the people who are experiencing them. Because their message in talking about these bomb threats and in lying to the American people and saying they came from me and Donald Trump, what they're doing is trying to shut all of us up. They're trying to say, how dare you, citizens of Springfield, complain about this migrant inflow because now these bomb threats are happening. How dare you complain about the fact that you can't afford housing? How dare you complain about Kamala's open border? The media conspired to shut American citizens up. They owe every single American an apology, and they ought to... And after giving every single American an apology, why don't they think about covering the real crisis, which is Kamala's open border and its many, many victims? Focus on the real story, American media. Stop trying to shut up the people who are telling the real story. Do your job. Cover what's going on in this race, and the American people will be better off for it.
But every once in a while, these guys do surprise me. This last weekend, Donald Trump's running mate, Senator Vance, did a really remarkable thing. He got called out by a fair and free press that are a part of our democracy and fundamental to the freedoms of this country. He got called out by that press about telling vicious, hurtful lies about immigrants. But he did something. He did something. He told the truth. They asked him if maybe it was an accident or he didn't mean it. No, he said, I admit it. I'm willing to create stories to spread fear to drum up support for us. Now, the only thing amongst this group is no kidding, we've been seeing that for years. Yes, but at least they admitted it. At least they admitted it. So you got to ask, what other things are they making up stories about? I think you know. I think you know. The reason you do that is is because if you told what you really stood for, no one would vote for you. And that includes the folks who think that, because you know you have your neighbors who are out there. Hell, we have them in our families, don't we know? So, but that's what happens. And I don't really like Donald Trump, but I like what he stands for. Oh, really? Suppressing women's reproductive rights, is that the one you want? Or is it cutting taxes for billionaires while you get screwed in the middle class? Is that the one you like? Or is it ignoring real problems, like our children being shot dead in schools? Is it those things or whatever? So I think for all of us, the truth here, you know who Donald Trump is. You know the pain that he caused. He killed thousands of manufacturing jobs across this state. It doesn't matter how many times he tries to rewrite history, that's a fact and you know it. And then he told us that we needed to not have overtime protections for 280,000 North Carolinians. That's $45 million that didn't go into your pockets, but went into the tax cuts for his wealthy buddies. But here's the thing. I think it's important to know where we came from for where it's at. But I know that people are here, and I know that these young people are excited. Look, these guys run on fear. And I know, I supervised the high school lunchroom for about 20 years. It made me an eternal optimist, have to be, but it also taught me fear is an incredible short-term motivator. It doesn't change behaviors. These guys focus on fear of the unknown. Blame the brown man, blame somebody else. That's what they do. It's important to know who they are, but what really inspires people is policies and a vision like Kamala Harris is bringing that's about the future. It's about the future. It's about what we can do together. It's about telling you can do. And she's got the record to prove it. Vice President Harris served in an administration that created 500,000 jobs here in North Carolina in partnership with rural people. Manufacturing jobs coming back home. And something I gotta tell you, I served in Congress and then as governor. Every damn week, Donald Trump talked about Infrastructure Week. Oh, we're gonna do Infrastructure Week. And then, of course, the dysfunction of the Congress did nothing. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris did something. They passed the largest infrastructure act in American history. And that's real jobs and real work. $10 billion to North Carolina to remove lead pipes from all your homes and your businesses. The Alligator River Bridge, replace it. And then bringing what your governor was a leader in and your legislature pushing on, making sure that high-speed broadband is in every corner of the state. Every corner of the state. And it's about a vision, and it's about where that is. But I got to tell you, it's about them trying to tell Americans to not trust their own eyes, too. So we're not going to miss. We got the opportunity last week. Look, it's crazy to me. There are 330 million people in this country, and there are 2 people, one of whom is going to be President of the United States.